how to say no or why to say no and why it is okay to say no.
Yeah, I'm a recovering people pleaser, so I have had to learn how to say no and sit in a space that is uncomfortable because people don't like to be told no, especially when they're so used to getting whatever they want from you. Because words of encouragement I shared with this person, they were inspired to start their own podcast. They were inspired to keep going and doing what God or the universe made them for. That looking back, it makes me feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm
Welcome to the show. Let's talk with Urvashi. This is the episode with Ben, continuation from last episode. If you haven't checked all of his previous episode, please do go and check. We are today continuing talking about the emotional challenges that one would go when they are trying to build a new startup, new business, and starting their new entrepreneurship journey. Let's explore with Ben, and please go and check it out. His Instagram, YouTube, as well as his website. Uh, how should one deal with the rejection?
So the biggest way that I've learned, because there are people like we talked about earlier with family who may not see the value in what you have.
Mhm.
Um, Look at that as an unhealed person who isn't on the journey yet of understanding the value you provide.
Mm.
That does not mean that your value has shrank or diminished or is not worthy of taking up space. It just means that the person standing in front of you doesn't understand the value that you can provide yet, and their journey hasn't taught them that lesson. So when you stand in front of someone who rejects what you are offering to a space, look at it as that person just hasn't come to an experience in life for them to understand value that you can provide, and continue to move forward to find new spaces to exist in to provide the value because the world needs it. You can't let rejection stop you from finding where people will nurture your value and allow you to grow and provide that value to the world.
Great. Yeah. It's been amazing. Every question that I'm asking, you have the answer which actually can lift up anybody who is really on their journey. Ben, amazing. Uh, I'm gonna look at here. I have write it. How to say, because it is very resonating with me. Until certain age of my life, I did not have power to say no. I would say like no, it's not nice to say no, and I would not say it. Then at one point I learned to say no, and then people start feeling bad about it or like not taking it, like it's not kind of a nice, so you can like I can see it. So tell me at this point how to how to say no or why to say no and why it is okay to say no.
Yeah. I'm a recovering people pleaser, so I have had to learn how to say no and sit in a space that is uncomfortable because people don't like to be told no, especially when they're so used to getting whatever they want from you because you are a people pleaser or someone who just never knew how to set a boundary for yourself. And just reflecting back on moments where I got to say no and I was so clear on the boundary that I was setting that my no meant I was saying yes to myself.
Hmm.
And I think that too often we forget that just because we're saying no to someone else does not mean that it's not a yes for something else. So in situations like that, the best way that I learned how to say no was saying yes to myself. So I'm going to say yes to myself right now and say I will not be putting myself in this situation. I will not be putting myself in a place where I will cause trauma to my own energy and self to make other people feel comfortable. And when I started saying it that way to myself, you can say no out loud because they need to hear it. But inside, internally, know that you're saying yes to yourself, saying yes to your mission, saying yes to your goals. Because if you're saying no to something, you know that it's not going to serve you and your purpose. So, like, I've said no many times when it comes to speaking in spaces that are very attacking and they want me to be defensive and loud and attacking back. And I was like, how will that serve me though? It will leave me drained and depleted. It will leave me feeling like you're trying to box me into a corner and trying to get me to say something that I will regret later. And I was like, that's going to be a no. But I will continue to send positive thoughts your way. I will continue to pray for your success in whatever journey you take. It just won't include me in that. And when I started confidently realizing that my value and worth was super important to me and the world's not going to protect me, I have to protect me, no's came a lot easier because I need the energy to help the people who need my help. If I allow people who don't need me to damage that, then I'm allowing myself to be damaged where I can't help others. So just think about those types of things when you're saying no. Think of all the ripple effects of positive things that are going to happen because you chose to say no because you knew it wasn't aligned with you and what you wanted to do in life.
Mhm. Again, amazing. Uh, do you remember any of these incidents which is so dear to you during your journey? Like you felt that that's what you wanted, that's what you wanted, or that's your mission or vision is, and you have achieved it. Like at that, do you remember that point? You were like you didn't have words to explain it, that you achieved your dream or you contributed, or like that was your human, that was your purpose to be a human on this planet. Have you felt that point at some point in your life?
I think in the moments when it happened, I didn't truly feel it. But reflecting back on those moments, I can see it. Uh, there were so many instances where I got to be a guiding light. I got to be the hand reaching out to help someone stand up after they fell down. And in those moments, it just felt like that was the natural thing you were supposed to do. It wasn't like me thinking, okay, how is this going to impact the world by me doing this? And looking back on all those beautiful moments that I can reflect back on and be like, wow, because something I did, this community was served
Hmm.
something better because of me stepping out here, because of the words of encouragement I shared with this person. They were inspired to start their own podcast. They were inspired to keep going and doing what God or the universe made them for. That looking back, it makes me feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm serving the world the way I was meant to serve. But usually in the moments that it's happening, I'm too in the moment and present to realize that I'm continuing to do exactly what I was put here to do. But that reflection and looking back is definitely something that I've learned to really appreciate and just kind of look back with like love at the person that was doing his best to add positive things to the world. Because sometimes I was going through very hard times myself, and I still chose in the moments that I could to give to others and be of service, even in times where I didn't know what was going to get me through the next day. So looking back and knowing that I was the person that continued to show up even when I didn't have a lot to show up with, um, those moments I think are the ones where I can look back and go, wow, I'm doing it. And those are beautiful, and I cherish those memories for sure.
Great. Ben, that was amazing. That was amazing that we could reach lots of questions that I had on my mind, and I felt that people are going through them. So I'm just going to ask you a question which is not related to the topic, but it is just that I like to ask, and it is just about you, like you being you. What is your favorite food, Ben? What do you like?
My favorite food.
Uh-huh.
So recently I have been eating a lot of sushi. And it's funny because when I was little, I got food poisoning from sushi and was terrified to eat it for the longest time. But I got friends in college that re-invited me to try it, and I fell in love with it. That's usually when people ask me if I get to pick where we eat. They're like, and we're not doing sushi because we know that's what you're gonna say. Pick something other than sushi because we did that already. But yeah, sushi is kind of where I sit. I really enjoy that.
Mhm. That's great. Do you like to cook?
So I am not a great cook. I I'm dating someone who is a phenomenal cook. They
Mm-hmm.
have uh, Puerto Rican heritage, so there's a lot of food that they're able to provide. And uh, uh, I think we were talking about food, but when it comes to my ability to cook, most people are like, and Ben will not be cooking because he will poison us all. Because I I just that's not an area of passion for me. That I enjoy eating food and I enjoy tasting food. My stomach doesn't always enjoy tasting different types of foods, but I will try anything once. But me cooking it may be dangerous. Someone definitely needs to supervise my cooking to make sure I don't kill whoever's eating it.
What is your favorite activity when you have a time off? What do you do?
So my favorite thing is being outdoors. So I grew up in the country. I lived on a 1,200 acre farm here in Virginia. And so my favorite thing is just to disconnect and go out into nature. Um, Pushing myself to like hike up high mountains, I might feel rough at the top, but it's definitely something that I enjoy. When I moved here to the city, as you can see, I'm surrounded by plants.
Mhm.
That's my partner's doing. I don't have a green thumb, but I enjoy being around plants. I made sure that my apartment that I chose to live in was super close to a nature trail so that I can escape out to that. But I definitely am a person that you will always find in my spare time. I will be out in nature doing something.
Oh, that is amazing. Because I guess because of nature, you're so much connected to yourself, and you're so much already like centralized within yourself. I guess that is the reason, maybe because you would definitely enjoy that part.
Yeah, I think nature is a great space for me to like reconnect with myself and remember the very, very small part I play in the world, but knowing that everything that I'm connected to is connected and plays a part. So like when I do the work to connect with self, like that means I'm able to connect with others in a better way. Um, Whereas I think a lot of people who are unhealed don't realize how much pain they put back out into the world.
Mm.
So I just try to remind myself that the small part I play, I want to make sure that it plays in a positive way. So yeah, I definitely nature when I'm feeling it, when I'm in my head, when I know that what I'm putting out into the world isn't as great as I would like it to be, I do go out into nature to reconnect so that I get back in alignment with myself and putting my best foot forward.
Great, amazing. Last thing I want to ask you for today's podcast is, that term is that if one is towards success, and if it is like the person is on the top of the mountain, like the success is lonely. Like everybody says that success is lonely, and that there would no, like you will lose people, nobody's around. I wanted to ask this question: how can we positively say about that phrase? Like how can I put positively, like success is lonely, but success is what that is meant for you? Or how I really want to give a positive impact rather than people take it negatively.
Yeah. I would say being at the top and being successful is only lonely if you take that journey in a very selfish way. Um, I've made sure that on my journey that I don't step on people. Like I would not feel good about myself if I knew I had to destroy someone else's journey of success to gain my own. I am a true believer in like there's more than enough to go around.
Mhm.
So I don't live in a mindset of
Scarcity.
like scarcity. So I do believe the journey may have moments where you have to walk alone. But to be at the top, I don't think would be a lonely place to be if you were doing it with pure intentions. I do believe people can make it to the top and be surrounded by people who love and support them because you're living a life that inspires and ignites other people around you. Um, I think a journey like that wouldn't leave you very lonely at the top. Um, I think some people who've gotten there and experience that pain of loneliness uh, sacrificed things that shouldn't have been sacrificed in the name of success.